Hello, beautiful soul, beautiful earth angel. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna. If this is your first time with me, thank you for being here. However, I have landed on your screen or in your awareness. Perhaps there is something in this message, in this video, in this transmission that will resonate with you and will help and take you to the next level of your potential. And I hope you stay. If you like what you hear, I would love for you to join this channel, subscribe, click the notification button. It tells you when I upload new information. And if you would like to click like, if you so desire, that would be very helpful. It tells people that there is something worthwhile listening to. I always state my intention, particularly for those who are new to what I do. As I mentioned, the word channel, I'm a channeler. I channel information from what I believe is a far higher perspective than the ones we currently have on planet Earth, with the intention of helping us become more aware. Why would becoming more aware be important? Well, when we become more aware, we then have the choice to create more abundantly in our 3D reality. It helps us to truly tap into our potential. And this is truly where the power is. Power is in the understanding of who you are beyond the constraints of your limited thinking. Now, when I say yours, I mean that as collectively, including my own. So if you are into wanting to feel more empowered, wanting to experience more choices for yourself, ones that lead you to happier, healthier, more expanded version of yourself, then I do hope you stay. On the other hand, if you are not interested in any of these things and you are preferring to be experiencing your limitness, then this is not for you. Although you wouldn't be here, because everything is energetic. And if you are watching this, if I have appeared in front of you, then the universe has coordinated these synchronicities in order to help you gain some information that may be of use to you with regards to what I've said. So once again, thank you. There is literally millions of people who create content, and the fact that you are choosing to spend your precious time with me, I'm very grateful for that. It helps me help you, knowing that you are watching this, which means potentially you are gaining valuable information, which means potentially this information will help you to become more expanded version of yourself. If you find this helpful, please share it with a friend or two. If you believe you know someone in your life who would be interested in feeling more expanded, feeling more abundant, feeling more empowered, less fearful, less limited, please share this with a friend. Maybe share this with on your social media platform. It would be greatly appreciated. Myself and my invisible team would be very grateful. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I am back here again, as I am every week, creating this content in order for us to become a better, higher, more expanded version of ourselves. And I truly believe that when each and every one of us taps into our potential by understanding who we truly are beyond our limited thinking and our limited beliefs, the world truly will become a better place. But the world is made up of individuals like you and I. And for the world to change, for the world to shift, for the world to become a better place, and the world is a reflection of you and I, each individual has to make the choice to self-reflect and to create a better version of ourselves, within ourselves, from within ourselves. And just you being here now tells me that you are on that journey. You are here in order to feel more empowered. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And you know this. You've seen my videos more than one. You've probably heard some of the information that I share. My greatest joy is to help people become and feel more empowered. There is nothing greater to me than to see it firsthand. And sometimes I don't see it firsthand, but I hear it from you through your comments. How the information that I am being given, graciously being given, is helping you expand. And that is music to my ears, and it's food for my soul. So thank you so much for coming back. In addition, I want to thank each and every one of you who has responded to my recent post about me working on a project. Specifically, it's a program that I am working on. It's a transformational program, and I am in a research phase. So I am doing my own research for myself, and I have asked if anybody would be willing to be a part of my research and to have spare a few moments and have a chat with me. And I have had overwhelming number of individuals, such as yourself perhaps, responded. Thank you so much for that. If you haven't received an email from me, you will. For those of you who have already booked a chat with me, thank you so much. Like I said, it is, I did not expect, quite frankly, I did not expect this level of feedback. It was so, again, the fact that you are choosing to give your time to me, and we're all busy people. There is many things that we have to do every single day. The fact that you're wanting to speak with me, a stranger, perhaps a stranger that you've seen on YouTube once or twice, or maybe several times, maybe a few years. It tells me that I'm doing something right. It tells me that what I am doing is helpful and affecting you in a positive way. Otherwise, you wouldn't choose to spend your precious time with me. You would just move on, because you've got many things to share your time with. So thank you for that. It truly validates that what I'm doing and my path, it truly validates that I'm on the right path. So thank you for that. And my path is all about you. My path is about helping you. It's about serving you. It's also about helping me, help myself. But the only way I can truly help you is if I learn how to help myself. Otherwise, I can't help you. If I cannot help myself, then I cannot see through you. And when I say through you, there's few ways of dissecting that. I literally see through people, which may sound like a scary thing. It isn't. I am a bit of an X-ray. So anyway, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. And if you haven't received an email from me yet, or communication, you will. So that aside, I don't know about you, but I have a feeling that 2022 is going to be a phenomenally transformational year. And I have heard this from other people in last few days. I can feel it in my bones. I know it's going to be a transformational year for me. I am at my own crossroads actually pretty much with everything. To be honest, my life is being upgraded. Now, when I say it's being upgraded, it's not so much that it's happening to me. I am consciously or otherwise choosing these upgrades. I have set intentions in order to experience certain reality, and it is happening, and I'm on the road to experience my intentions, and it's happening very quickly without a warning, and it's like a fast-moving train, and I need to hold on. Well, I don't need to, but I'm choosing to hold on. So if you share your feelings with me, you're not alone. One of the things that is upgrading for me, or that I am upgrading, is I've decided that I'm going to go on a strict vegan cleanse. Now, I am not opposed to eating meat. I am not that person. I'm not going to even go into it, but something just told me it's time to take your body to the next level. Now, because I've had challenges with weight in the past for quite a while, I have dealt a lot with weight issues that were obviously very much tied to my perception of myself. Any kind of rigidity I put around myself or food makes me run in the other direction. So the fact that I'm willingly choosing to put myself through this incredibly strict vegan, mostly fruit cleanse is both exciting and very scary. So I'm going to let you know how I'm doing. I may fall off the wagon on day 2, or I may actually go, wow, this is better than I expected. And it is going to challenge me to the nth degree. One of the reasons is because I have been trained to believe that eating fruit is going to make me gain weight. And I mean, there's a lot of information out there. I'm sure you have your own beliefs, and I'm not saying it's true or not true, but for me, that's what I believed was true. So for the most part, I went on fairly high protein diet, and I stayed away from any types of carbohydrates, including fruit. Now, it has helped me get in shape. It has helped me gain lean muscle and stay lean fairly easily. So the fact that I have to switch now 180, it's bringing some stuff into my face. So it's going to be a challenge. But for some reason, there's a part of me that is excited about this challenge. It's like, okay, Joanna, something is definitely changing inside of you. Because if you were to say that to me even a few months ago, go on a fruit-only detox diet, it's not for losing weight, it's to take my body to the next level, I would have freaked out. I would have said, there's no way. I'm afraid of eating that much sugar. So, but for some reason, I'm not afraid. Now, for those of you who have never dealt with issues around weight, which are very much tied to, for me, issues with fear of being not good enough and therefore abandoned, you may not understand what that means. On the other hand, for those of you who understand some of that, who have dealt with weight issues, or maybe you're still dealing with it now, especially if your weight is tied to an emotional component, which for the most part it usually is, unless there is a medical condition, you probably have a lot of fears tied to your weight. So what I'm trying to say here is that this 2022 seems to be a year of transitioning into new ways and a year of new beginnings. Now, I always knew, always, for the last little while, I knew that 2021 was going to be a pivotal year. I think I've said that in some of my videos. And both 2020 and 2021 have been, well, challenging to say the least. Mostly because of a certain situation that the whole world is experiencing, and we are continuing to experience that a lot right now. But I was shown that 2021 was going to be a very pivotal year, and something happened because we're in 2022 and we are in second week, and I am shifting gears and I can feel the change in me, and I am willingly, excuse me, taking on challenges that would have scared the shit out of me just a few short months ago. Or few short months ago, yes. So, oh, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm embarking on, there's a link down below. I had a specialist in late December. You may have joined the webinar, who is a detoxification specialist who uses food and Mother Nature's herbs and food to detoxify the body. And something just said, okay, Joanna, just do it. So I am taking on the challenge. So if you are interested in knowing what that is, the gentleman's name is Eric. He has his own phenomenal story of having healed himself from some immune conditions by following this fairly strict detox protocol. So the link is down below if you're interested. So that's what's happening with me. If you are feeling like you're in your own transition and you are looking for ways to help you manage your stress, help you figure out how to go about the next phase of your life, I have 2 webinars coming up. One is on January 25th, which is about taking your intentions to the next level. It will involve a group meditation and group healing in order to help you gain insight as to what is needed in order for you to reach your intentions. If you don't have intentions, or if you don't know how to come up with intentions, I can help you with that. So that link is down below. It's on January 25th, and early bird price is until, I believe, January 18th. And another webinar is on February 1st, and that one is selling like hotcakes, and it's a healing breathwork ceremony. I've mentioned this in the last video. I have been practicing breathwork for about 3 months now or so, and I am bringing my own personal breathwork teacher, who is one of my favorite people in this entire world, and he is going to enlighten us on the benefits of breathwork, and he will guide us through a breathwork session. So if you are interested in that, to understand more or to know more from an expert, and to actually be guided through a session, he does Zoom breathwork sessions all the time. He knows how to manage the energy. Then that link is down below. Last but not least, and I need to say this because it's happening more and more. If you are approached on Instagram and Facebook by someone who claims to be Joanna the Healer or Joanna the Medium, befriending you and saying shortly after, hey, I've picked up some stuff about you, would you like a psychic reading? It's not me. I will never contact you to give you a psychic reading. First and foremost, that is not how I approach my work. I don't call my work psychic readings. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just not what I do. My job is to help you move through your limitations. It's not to tell you things or to predict things for you. It's to actually help you move through something that is, for the most part, fairly unconscious to you. A typical, if there is such a word, psychic will not do that. So I will never contact you and say, hey, it's $100. I'll give you a psychic reading. It's not me. If you want to play with them and mess with their heads, by all means, go ahead and, take it as far as you want, but it's not me. I will never contact you. Anyone who wants to work with me, and yes, I still do private sessions. I am slowly weaning it out of my life because they're very taxing, and it limits me in terms of how many people I can help. So I'm slowly weaning out of that, but yes, I still offer private sessions. So if you are wanting to work with me in order to help you realize your potential by having a session with me and my team, then that information is down below. You will go through a process with confirmation emails, with properly set up emails, business emails, and you'll know it's me. So it's a bit of a warning because it's been happening for quite a while, and they keep popping up with different versions of Joanna the healer or medium, and they usually have a little bit of a period at the end or an underscore, and the eye won't see that, so you'll get fooled thinking that it's me. It's not me. So that's what I have as far as announcements and what's happening with me. Some of the messages or some of the information, some of the guidance I want to share with you in terms of collective. We are amidst a health condition. I don't want to use a certain word because I wouldn't want this video to be taken down. And it is bringing out a lot of fear for various reasons, and rightfully so. Okay? I am not lefty or a righty. I actually don't know where I am. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm still trying to figure it out. What I am learning and what my experience has been telling me is that the truth is always somewhere in the middle. However, there is a lot of fear going on right now. Fear coupled with a lot of anger. The world as we know it is being split in half, maybe more than in half, but it is being split. And families are turning against each other. Friends are turning against each other. Neighbors are turning against each other. We are turning against each other based on what we think or what we believe. Is this the world we want to live in? I'm sure your answer, like mine, is no. So if it isn't, I'm going to say something that just the way it's coming out, it's kind of strange. We got to calm the fuck down. We got to cool our jets. We have to slow down our engines. We have to relax. Take a breather. Collect our thoughts before we make the next step forward. I picked 2 animal cards which were given to me. The first one is crocodile and the second one is scorpion. One is about emotions, the other one is about the mind. So let me just briefly speak to each one of those. The crocodile is very much about having patience, not being hasty in our decision-making process, waiting for the right time, for the right opportunity to arrive, and not being hasty. If you think of the idea of a crocodile, they patiently wait until the right time, before they attack. So obviously we're not talking about attacking, we're just talking about a crocodile, and it's a metaphor. In other words, the crocodile doesn't waste its energy when it goes for what it wants, which is its prey. So let's call it a goal. It waits patiently until its prey is close enough so that it's reachable, and then it goes after it in order to get it. So what I'm hearing is, don't waste your time expending your energy on useless information. What does it mean when I say useless information? Information that fundamentally or ultimately doesn't serve your goal. If you are boggled down with fear, what is fueling this fear? What is causing you to feel fearful now? With all due respect, there is a health condition. And I'm not saying be fearful. Be mindful. Be discerning. Don't be ignorant. But is it necessary to be fearful? On one hand, fear protects us from, at the very basis of what it serves, it protects us from getting killed. Okay? On the flip side of that, too much fear prevents us from living our life. So since we need to have a level of fear, we have to find some balance somewhere in the middle where having a healthy dose of fear is there, but that dose does not prevent us from living our life. And I'm just speaking words that are coming to me. I'm not connecting with anything specific, but however you hear this is going to be meaningful to you in some way. Okay? If you are always fearful, fear limits you. On the other hand, if someone is chasing you, let your fear make you run. You see? Now, of course, it's easier said than done. So the question is, if you are fearful, if you are continually fearful, you have to ask yourself this question: what is feeding your fear? On one hand, we have one type of media that is very fear-based, but on the other hand, equally so, we have another type of media that is fear-based. Both fear-based. You may not like this side, so you flip over to the other side, and it's still fear. Is this how you want to feel? Do you want to perpetuate your fearful state of mind? If yes, no judgment. It's your life, it's your choice. Continue doing what you're doing. On the other hand, if you want to fear less, ask yourself, what feeds my fear, and what can I do in order to be fed less fear? Okay? Things like fearful social media, podcasts, wherever or whoever they come from, it comes from. If it is making you feel fear on a regular basis, if it is feeding you fear, is this how you want to feel? I'm assuming the answer is no, though we do go to the movies sometimes and pay for horror movies which make us feel fearful. So you see, there is some benefit to feeling fear. Okay? So that's why I'm not discounting fear as something that is a valuable part of our life, because it is. It absolutely is. However, just like anything, too much fear will make us feel sick, will make us feel encumbered, will make us feel locked down inside, will make us feel afraid to do the things we want to do. Fear will bring us down to our knees. Now, sometimes it's necessary in order to experience an awakening. Sometimes when we are brought down to our knees, we break out of our shell. We break through our old conditioning. Sometimes it's helpful. Sometimes in order to move up, we have to get down to the very bottom where there's nowhere down to go, and it's only up from there. So however this message resonates with you, listen to your own intuition, listen to your own inner voice on whatever this means to you. But this is a message for the collective. Let's cool our engines. Let's at least attempt to recognize what feeds our fear, and if we do not want to feel that on a regular basis, let's ask the question, what feeds my fear? How do I feed my fear? And what can I do to reduce how much I feed my own fear? Now, what I'm going to say next is self-evident, but I feel it needs reminding. How you feel is up to you. How you feel is up to you. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? Well, no, they want me to feel that way. Well, they may want you to feel that way, but where does the feeling come from, them or you? At the end of the day, the feeling comes from within you. Yes, it may be triggered by something or someone, but it comes from you. It comes from you. It's yours. So how you feel is up to you. If you want to fear less, ask yourself, what do I want to feel more? What do I want to feel more of, and what am I willing to do in order to make that happen? If you are wanting to feel more uplifted, then you have to be willing to introduce some positive aspects into your life in terms of what you are listening to, what you are hearing, what you are digesting, information-wise or food-wise for that matter. If you want to feel like crap, you're going to eat like crap, you're going to listen to crap information. Now, I'm not one of those people that puts blinders on their eyes and say, if I don't see it, it doesn't affect me. I choose not to be ignorant. You know the saying, ignorance is bliss. There's a reason for that saying. I choose not to do that. I choose to be aware, and based on my awareness, I choose accordingly. I choose to be, what's the word, please? The word escaped me. Oh, it's at the tip of my tongue. But the point I'm trying to make is that, thank you, discerning. I choose to be discerning. Now, it isn't always easy, I will be honest with you. When you are bogged down with so much information coming from right, left, and center, it is sometimes hard to get away from. But the way I deal with it is I give myself breaks. I give myself break from listening to certain things, participating in certain conversations, because time and time again, it's been shown to me that when I passionately speak what is my truth, it doesn't go over very well with some people. And it ends up being a waste of energy. And I end up feeling tired, angry. At the end of the day, why am I doing this? Am I trying to convince somebody of my truth? And at the end of the day, if I am trying to convince someone of my truth, what am I doing? I'm being no different. I'm being no different. I can respectfully state my position and leave it at that. And there are, as you know, very many opposing views all over the place. And these views are very passionate and very heated. And oftentimes, rather than these views being topics of conversations, they become conflicts and wars. Is this the place we want to live in? For me, the answer is no. I don't know about you, but I am pretty certain for you the answer is also no. If you are fighting someone or somebody, and I don't mean physically, but if you are in your mind fighting with somebody because of their opposing views, what are you trying to convince them of? Are you trying to convince them that you're right or they're wrong, and they're wrong? Because that is not a way to convince somebody. It generally doesn't work. You know how you can convince somebody? Be yourself. Be your true, authentic, happy self, and be an example to that. Because you know what's going to happen. When you stand in your power, when you stand in your truth without trying to convince somebody that your truth is the right truth, your truth may not be right for them. When you stand in your true power without trying to convince that you are right or what you know is the only truth, you know what happens? You glow. And you become an example for other people. Because you know what happens when you're not trying to convince anybody? You're at peace with yourself. You're at peace with the person who has a different opposing view than you do. You are at peace with what's happening even though you may not agree with what's happening. Why? Because you understand and you know that there is more than what we can see. There is more to what we can see. And when you stop fighting with yourself, with your neighbor, with your family member, with your loved one, you begin to create a peace within you. And you know what every single human wants in this world? You know what every single human wants? They want to be loved and they want to feel peace. They want to feel content. It all boils down to this feeling of having peace. Now, if you think about it, if you were always at peace, life would be kind of sort of boring. We need little ups and downs once in a while to make things interesting, to make life a little bit, on edge, right? But at the end of the day, when you find peace inside of you, when you come into you, what do I mean by that? When you find peace inside of you, it's like coming home. If you think of the idea of home, what does home connect you with? Now, for some people, home does not coincide with peace because their homes were anything but peaceful. But the idea of home is a peaceful state of being where you are feeling safe, where you are feeling content. At least that is what most people want on this planet. If you're listening to this, I can pretty much guarantee you're one of those people. I know I am. And you know what's going to give you the greatest level of peace? You know what's going to do that? When you look deeply within yourself and ask yourself, what am I at odds with myself? What aspect of me am I hiding from because I am ashamed of it? I feel like I'm not enough. I feel like I don't deserve, or whatever limitations or skewed perceptions you have of yourself. We all have them. Every single human has them on some level to some degree. This is why we're here. We're here to transcend from that. The mistake we make, and it's not a conscious thing, we believe that our limitations is who we are. We're not our limitations. Our limitations is a state of mind, it's a belief. Now, being a human has its limitations. You don't have wings, you can't fly. I'm not talking about these things. I'm talking about what the mind conjures, what we conjure in our head in terms of what we're capable of, what we are not capable of, what we're deserving of, what we're not deserving of. We're less than, not good enough, all that fucking nonsense. Excuse my French, I speak French a lot lately. If you can ask yourself one question this year, a question that will help you realizing your full potential, or getting you closer to realizing more of your potential, it would be, what am I at odds with within myself? What aspect of you do you not believe in? What part of you don't you trust? What aspects of you are you pushing away, you want nothing to do with? All that creates inner conflict. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, conflict is synonymous with war. I have yet experienced peace in the middle of a war. We're all conflicted human beings. And the inner conflict aspect is my fascination. I might be weird that way. I don't know, but I believe my fascination has something to do with what I do, helping people move past their limitations. Hence my fascination. It fascinates me to no end how we human limit ourselves without even knowing. We're not conscious of it. And if we're not conscious of it, can we change it? Can we change something we are unaware of? The answer is no. No freaking way. We can hope for change, but it's like chasing our own tail, or like trying to catch or chase a ghost. Good luck. Rarely happens. So if 2022 is your year, I know it's my year, I can feel it in my bones. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to let go of? What are you willing to see about yourself that is currently keeping you in a state of lack in whatever area of your life? Money, relationship, feeling about yourself, in whatever area of life. Health. I mean, health is at the top of everyone's mind these days. Mine is for other reasons. I want to take my health to a whole new level. I want to elevate myself. And the purifying way through this purely raw vegan approach happens to be something I'm trying. I'm not saying it's the best one. I'm not saying it's the one. I'm not saying it's good or not good. I don't know. I've never tried it. I've seen some studies, and you can find studies on anything. I'm sure there are studies that will say that this approach is terrible for you. I'm sure, because that's just that we can start. You can find support to anything these days, anything. So at the end of the day, you just have to kind of listen to yourself. But back to the topic at hand. What are you willing to see about yourself this year, 2022, that limits you in some way? Are you willing to see it? Are you ready to see it? Do you want to see it? Because you may not want to. Why? Well, when you open the can of worms, it's like opening, a can of worms. It's not particularly stable. It creates havoc. It temporarily disrupts your status quo. And we humans love status quo. Look what's happening in the world. Many status quos are being disrupted right now. And Some don't like it. Why? Because status quo is comfortable. But as we all know, status quo cannot stay status quo forever. Why? Because the world changes. Life changes all the time. Everything changes. We change. How we think change. How we see change. We cannot expect the world to change by expecting things to stay the same. It'll never happen. It can't happen. Life is constant change. And we are amidst profound change right now. I'm sure you already know that. And those changes are happening on global level as well as on individual level. It is affecting us emotionally, mentally, financially, spiritually, health-wise, physically, all levels. And we are here to experience that. Why? It's called progression. Through this havoc, we are transitioning out of our status quos. So if your current status quo has you feeling happy, content, keep on doing that. But there will be a change. It's inevitable. It just means that you're in a pretty good place. And if you feel like you're in a pretty good place, keep doing what you're doing. Keep listening to that inner voice that got you to this place of inner calmness and inner peace. Because at the end of the day, this is all that we really want. You want to have a peace of mind. You want to have a peace in your heart. You want to have peace in your body. You want to have peace in your thoughts. You want to have greater awareness. I'm assuming if you're watching this, that's what you want. That's what I want. That's what you want. Why? Because at the end of the day, when you have peace, when you have greater awareness, you are able to experience more of yourself. You allow yourself to reach for more. You allow yourself to expand your horizons. You allow yourself to move beyond your boundaries and limitations. And you know how to move through limitations? The only way to move through your limitation or past limitation is to face it. It's the only way. You can't walk around it. You can't drive around it. You can't push it away. The only way to move past your limitation is to face it. So what limits you? What fear limits you? I'm not talking about the healthy fear that makes you run when a dog is chasing you. I'm not talking about that. Keep that. Put it in the bank. I'm talking about the perceived concepts you have about yourselves. The things you tell yourself you can't. You know, you shouldn't. You couldn't. You're not allowed. They're making me do this. I mean, I'm not even going to go there. For the most part, we are living in a free world. I'm stressing for the most part. It's not the case for everyone. Okay? Some people are really told what to do. And there is no other option. I'm not there. You're probably not there either. And I am eternally grateful for that, because I wouldn't want to be in that other place. So I'm very grateful for that. So if we are experiencing this freedom of choice, and I know there's people who are going to say, I don't have freedom of choice, I'm being told what to do. Well, I used to think that way too. But at the end of the day, I realized nobody was holding my arm and forcing me physically or psychologically to make me do something. It was basically, you do this, This is what you get. If you don't do this, this is what you get. And there was a choice. It was a choice. I had to pick. And it was an incredible struggle. But I chose. Whatever I chose, it's up to me. The question is, what will you choose? And will your choice come from fear? Perhaps fear of abandonment? Fear of losing something? Or some other fear? Or will it come from a space of inner peace? That's something you might like to ask yourself this year. Why? Because when you ask yourself this question, you allow yourself the opportunity for an answer that may not have been available to you before. And what I'm getting is freedom of choice. Okay. The second one is the Scorpion. Talk about anger. Okay. So there's a lot of anger going around. There's a lot of anger festering. Some of this is igniting some anger that has been unresolved, unsolved, unhealed. What's making you feel angry? What is being triggered within you that fuels anger? For some of you, you feel stuck. Are you really feeling stuck, or you just don't like the choices that are presented to you? Sometimes. See, oftentimes people think the idea of choices means the choices somehow are automatically the ones that you prefer. No, you can have a whole bunch of choices and none of them you prefer. There are still choices nonetheless. There's still choices nonetheless. Some you prefer may not prefer more than others, but there's still choices. Okay? So look within your own mind and ask yourself, what makes me angry? Am I stuck in my anger? Is anger being fueled in me right now? And what is causing this? What is triggering this? Oftentimes, our anger is triggered or fueled by fear. Anger is here. Underneath anger, it's generally there is a fear. It's like a packaging, right? I called anger the wrapping paper. Underneath the wrapping paper, there is always some level of fear. Often when people are fearful, they go to anger. Okay? But underneath anger, it's almost always some level of fear. What is fear? Fear is some unresolved pain, some unresolved trauma, something that hasn't been healed, something that, when not healed, acts as a limitation. And remember, the only way to move past your limitation is to face it. So let the year 2022 be a year where you face your limitations, where you face your anger, where you face your fear, and do your best and try to resolve it. You can't push it away. You can't shove it where the sun doesn't shine. You can't fix it. It's a part of you. The only way you can truly resolve it is to shift the frequency. It's to shift the energy. And more often than not, what is required to do that is a shift of perception. When we shift our perception, oftentimes is when we begin to heal. Healing is really returning to balance. When we are feeling afraid, when we are feeling angry, That's because we are not in balance with ourselves. Why? Well, there is some stuff that is festering that hasn't been looked at. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just part of our human existence, our human conditioning, our human journey. But we are living in times where reducing the level of our own limitations is greater than it has been for many, 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 probably thousands of years. I'm hearing eons. When we are able to register the idea, the fact that we are the conductor, driver, the director of our life. What we think, what we believe, usually consciously or unconsciously, is how we create our reality. We are doing that. As adults, as young children, we obviously are put in circumstances where those are not the conditions we chose, not consciously anyway, as a soul, yes. But as an adult, you make your choices. For most of us, of course, that isn't the case for 100% of humanity. There are places where you're being told what to do as an adult, and if you don't, you lose your life. But this is not you and I living where we live right now. That is not, you are probably not that person. Okay? So let this year be a freeing year where you come out of your box, where you free yourself from your limitations, at least attempt to move yourself out of your limitations, out of your limited box, out of your limited thinking, out of your limited belief, out of your limited awareness of who you think you are. What you think, how you think, is how you experience your life. So if there is some unresolved anger inside of you, it's worth looking at. Now, I'm not talking about never allowing yourself to feel angry. I get angry, 100%. It's part of human experience. If I was not supposed to feel it, it wouldn't be part of my experience. The worst thing I can do is deny how I feel. That's even worse. That's suppressing energy. We don't want that, no. What we don't want is we don't want to get stuck in it. There's a difference. I remember, this was a few years ago, and I've said this, I believe, a few times. I got up in the wrong side of the bed. I don't know why I was angry, but I was in a pissy mood. And I was angry, and I was feeling bad for feeling angry. So I was conflicted. I was feeling angry, but then I was beating myself up for feeling angry. And then a being said to me, Spirit said to me, my guide at that time, he said, why are you denying yourself what you're feeling? Like if it's coming up, own it. And he said, how about this? Allow yourself to feel angry for 2 hours. And after 2 hours, tell yourself, okay, I'm done with feeling angry, move on to something else. And I thought it was so brilliant. I was like, well, that's a novel idea. I mean, pretty straightforward. And it's like, why haven't I thought about this? But we're taught not to feel this. We shouldn't feel this. If you feel this, you're bad, you're this. Nonsense. It's absolute freaking nonsense. All it ends up doing is we end up denying, suppressing our energies. And that wreaks havoc on our bodies, on our minds, on our health, which affects everything. So if you're feeling angry, if something pisses you off, acknowledge it. I'm pissed off. And then ask yourself, how long am I going to allow myself to feel this? Because it feels wonderful. I want to be pissed off for the next 2 days. If that's what makes you happy, go for it. Like, my God, listen, if being pissed off makes you happy, it makes you empowered, it makes you feel alive, then you go ahead and do it. Chances are, though, it will make you feel charged for a while, but after a certain period of time, it actually reduces the level of your being, of your happiness. You just walk around being angry. It's not a good place to be. You know what anger does? Speaking of bodies, anger reduces your vitality. Fear reduces your vitality. I'm not a doctor. I'm simply saying what's being shown to me. Anger reduces your life force, which means you suppress your life force when you perpetually are angry. Okay? If you're a pessimistic person all the time, there is some anger fueling under that pessimism. Don't judge yourself for it, but acknowledge it. There is some unresolved anger you might want to look at, because when it comes to body, physical body, anger creates havoc in the body by making the body very acidic. And acidity in the body promotes dis-ease. Now that's a known fact. That's science for you. That's actual science. That's knowledge that's been around for eons. So health-wise, it's not good for you to stay angry for long periods of time. And collectively, there's a lot of anger going on. And a lot of this anger is being triggered by what's happening in the world right now. And it is triggering some unresolved stuff from our past. Maybe it's triggering a feeling within you that makes you feel like you're in prison. Maybe this is something that you actually have experienced in some other former life, and this is now triggering this for you. Maybe it's triggering a feeling like your hands are being tied, that you are not in control of your life, that your freedom has been taken away. Ask yourself, is your freedom really being taken away? Just be honest with yourself. It's got nothing to do with me or anybody else for that matter. Just be very straightforward with yourself. Are you able to walk around, pretty much do for the most part what you want? I mean, yes, we live in a civilized world where you can't just do whatever you want. I mean, freedom still means you can't go and kill somebody. You can't go and rob a bank. You can't go and hurt somebody. That's still freedom. Just because you can't do that doesn't mean you're not a free person, right? So let's all take a chill pill. By the way, don't take pills unless it's absolutely necessary. It's a metaphor, of course. Let's all take a breather. Let's all realize we are all in this together. If you're here listening to this, if you are breathing, if you are hearing, you are on this planet Earth in 2022 because your soul signed up for it. As much as you may say that it's freaking crazy and I'm nuts, if you're listening to this, I know there's a part of you that knows it's true. You might be scratching your head and saying, what the hell was I thinking? Well, the one thing you are not doing is you are not thinking with your limited human mind. That is what you are not doing. Why? Because you didn't have a human mind. You had an awareness that was far more expanded than your human mind. Okay? So no, you are not thinking with your human mind. Nothing wrong with the human mind, but it's limited. Doesn't matter how you slice it or dice it, or how much people profess that they know everything. If you're human, you're limited. Your thinking is limited. You have your own perceptions because you have your own identity. Just part of being a human experience, having a human experience. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment around it. It's all beautiful. It's all here for a purpose. It's all here for the purpose of collective. Let's all work together, not against each other. Wouldn't that be a better place to be? So let's start with ourselves by asking, what do I deny myself of? What aspects of you am I at odds with within myself? What am I trying to get rid of that is a part of me? You cannot get rid of something that is a part of you. You cannot. You can take a pill, it'll numb it for a while. Is it gone? No, it's not gone. It's still affecting your life. You're just not aware of it. It numbs you. The only way to truly get rid of something you don't want as aspect of you is to look at it and to heal it. That's truly the only way. That is how we regain freedom of mind, freedom of heart. If you're listening to this, there's a part of you that knows it. You know there's a truth. There's truth to it. As uncomfortable as it may be at times to hear. Last but not least, the magical map shifter. Just by looking at this beautiful picture. This person has his eyes blocked. Can't see what's happening, but there's a whole bunch of things happening. On a collective level, what this is saying is that we are going through incredible change, but we cannot exactly see where this is going. Now, I know in my heart, and from what I've been shown, it is going to a better place. But before we get to this better place, a whole bunch of chaos has to ensue. Why? Because chaos is the change part, is the process of change. 5 is number of tremendous change. 2 is number of, this collectively, of changes, different choices, competing priorities. Everything is as it should be. And I say this somewhat with a heavy heart because someone who has lost a loved one to this health condition, to hear everything as it should be probably doesn't go over very well. And it shouldn't. Not in a human awareness, not in a human understanding. But I'm not talking from a human understanding, from a human perspective. I'm talking from a higher perspective. And I am very grateful. Well, I have lost a family member, one that I wasn't very close to. My dad's brother died of it very early on. But obviously didn't affect me as much as it would affect someone who was very close to me. So I'm very grateful that I don't have anyone close to me who had to transition over to the other side as a result of this. So yes, if you hear me saying everything is as it should be and you want to punch my lights out because you've lost someone very dear to you, and how dare I say everything as it should be, I hear you. I absolutely hear you. And from a human perspective, you're absolutely correct. 100%. 100%. And further to that, if you have experienced something like that, I am very sorry for you. I am very sad for you. And I feel for you. It is, well, it's a terrible thing. But I'm not talking from a human perspective. I'm talking from a higher perspective. Well, it's still a human perspective, but a higher perspective. Okay? On a more personal level, this is saying that things in your life are shifting. They're shifting in my life. And I don't really have a visibility of where things are going, although I shouldn't say I don't. I do, but I don't know. I don't have my hands on all the pieces, nor do I want to. Too much work. I'm allowing the universe to bring those pieces to me. In other words, I trust the process. I trust the chaos. All I know is that I see a certain version of myself in my mind, and that is what I am aspiring to live up to. And that is to be a communicator of source that ultimately inspires people to be a better version of themselves. How it comes to me in a 3D world, that's too much thinking. Universe, you tell me, you help me figure it out. And this is where I get my inspiration, and something comes to my mind to go, oh, that's interesting. I never thought about it that way. And then I either move forward with it or I don't. So no doubt things are shifting and changing in your life. Trust the process. You might experience people coming into your life, into your awareness, that will give you a certain perspective, a certain tool, a certain skill, a certain way of doing something that will ultimately help you and catapult you forward to the next level. Trust in coincidences or synchronicities and things magically coming into your life out of the blue when you least expect it. And try your best, and this is not very easy, but try your best to not try to control everything. And we as humans have a tendency to want to control everything. That's because it makes us feel safer. It makes us feel like we have a grasp on what's going on. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have certain level of control, because we should. It's what makes us feel safe. But again, just like too much water in a plant is going to make it rot, too much control is going to limit you. Okay? Just do your best. Just do your best. And of course, if there's any part of you that's drawn to what I speak, how I communicate, that says maybe I would be of help to you, you can always connect with me. I would be more than honored to help you shed light on some of your unconscious limitations and to show you what is needed for you in order to catapult you forward to the next level. That information is down below. So it's 11144. Talk about numbers. I hope that this was helpful. Thank you so much for being part of my channel. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with a friend or two. And again, thank you so much for volunteering to have a chat with me. If you haven't yet received an email from me, you will in the next little while. I literally run out of room in my calendar, so I have to make some adjustments. Until next time, I look forward to your comments, and have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.